part of life. That's what makes the game so good.
See, but that's the thing. Like, I understand that that is like an integral component of the game, but when another, so whenever you're putting events into the game and people can't participate in those events because there are people that are being rats, it's not fun. Like, there's no reason to have the events anymore. Like, there's no reason to do any more development on this game at this point because nobody's going to get to do that content. The only content that is built into the game is PvP other players. Because the game was originally built to be a PvE game, they added a PvP element and made it. They just didn't account for the people being assholes. Absolute scale.
Yeah.
It's like, and those guys, I'm 100% positive that those guys were sitting in a building next to us just waiting as long as they could until that thing was as low as possible before they're like, all right, let's go get them. Like,
Yeah.
100% that's the way they were playing because
Oh yeah.
they're
The
rat
map
assholes.
was quiet.
This guy on stream.
Who is it?
Oh, the two people that. So I always bring up the Steam profiles. This guy doesn't have one, so I haven't set up their Steam profile, so they just created Steam. The other guy spends way too much time on PUBG.
Checks out. You know how much friendly game is happening in PUBG, right?
Well, that is a game that is built for PvP. There is no PvE element to it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at. Is like it's hard to. The game is not built. The game was built for PvE, but they made it a PvP game. So now PvP is winning out, and there's no PvE element anymore. So I don't know. It's just, it's not what I was wanting. This game, it's starting to feel like a waste of time playing.
Yeah.
No, they don't have separate lobbies for that, and that's why everybody's saying like that. A bunch of people are yelling they want PVE only lobby or PvP optional lobbies, and that would be fine. But I don't think it solves the problem. I think it'll just push all the PvP players into one side of the game and PvEers into the other side of the game. But if you have a karma based system, like something built in to give benefits to the PvE aspect, because the whole point, like the whole concept, the theme of the game was humanity fighting back against a robot invasion. And then they're like, oh, let's make it so the players can also kill each other and steal each other's loot. So now it's more of a player versus player element because it's quote unquote more fun because it's different than fighting the bots.
Yeah, and they can't do like a countdown like that because the problem is there's like loot goblins, right? Who will always just grab the best loot, and like if there is no PvP, then they have no reason not to grab the best loot. So it's just whoever gets there first, rather than be friendly because I'll kill you, you know,
Yeah.
or like
So
share the loot or you'll get killed, right?
yeah. So there's elements to it that it makes sense why it is this way, but I think it's missing elements that would benefit players that aren't just looking for a PvP experience. It's like the same way as like use this as an example, RuneScape. RuneScape is a mostly PvE game, but there are PvP elements to it like worlds that you can go into that allow for PvP. And there are PvP zones where no matter when like what world you're on go into, it is a PvP. Exactly. And you get like sure, exactly. And that's the other thing. The bots are so good that we have to shift our focus to the bots, which cool, that it is what it is. I don't that's not what bothers me. But if we have to shift our focus to the bots and we're fighting we're fighting the equivalent of like 300 players right now, and then two players can walk up behind us while we're hurt and can't really do anything about it and just double tap us. It just, I don't know. Is the fact that I spent 20 minutes fighting that matriarch, no intervention, then all of a sudden, right near the end, they walk up and double tap me while I have no meds, no shield, like I can't do anything. So it's just it does not lend to my interest in the game.
Yeah,
Because
well,
I
in the
like the
future,
challenge of all that.
if we go in that room, right? I think there's only like 2 entrances there. We just mine all the stairs, all
Sure.
the.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one way to do it, but then you also have to collect the supplies to be able to do that, right? And I don't know if we actually even have that blueprint. But, you know.
I mean, even the shock mine, right? Just to
Sure.
alert us.
Sure. Well, so there's the other thing. The shock mine is not loud. So you have to really know what that sounds like. You have to train your brain to remember what that sounds like to be able to do, or to be able to respond to it while you're also fighting the matriarch and focused on not getting hit by any of her rockets. So I don't know. I think it's possible still. I just right now I'm so broke in the game that I don't have the motivation to build back up in the way that it's not fun to me at this point. It's not fun.
There's nothing to do but like the in-game content is the matriarch.
Yeah,
And if you can't do that, then what's the point of playing?
well, and not even that. Like it's like I understand. How do I put it? Like I don't have any issue with there being PvP. The in-game content for the PvE right now is doing the matriarch. If we can't do the matriarch, then I have no PvE in game, and I'm also not interested in PvPing right now. So what's the point of playing? And I think that that's going to, in the long run, be damaging to the game itself. I think that it's going to hurt the player base long term.
Right.
At one point, because of the way
they're losing a whole aspect of the game. There is no PvE at this point. Period.
But it is what it is. And if that's what they intended the game to be, like if they changed it out, they're like, this is what we want the game to be, cool, that's fine. But I think that they should have been more forthcoming with that in the beginning while I could still refund it.
They're trying to build these communities, right? They've got all these factions building. Don't you love it, Saito?
That's the thing. I don't care about any of that. Like, if you guys want to do that, that's cool. But leave it's like leave your code at the door. Like, do that on like in your game. If you're gonna come around and like play the regular games, that's fine. Just understand, not everybody wants to be a part of this, faction war. And it's boring. Yeah, that's pretty.
Streamers are in it.
So XY, yes, it's very close to that, but they still kept a PvE aspect in the game, but they built it so that it is PvPvE now.
Well, they're gonna have to do something, right? Because they're coming out with bigger bots, right?
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. They've got to build some way so that the bots can actually be fought at some point. Otherwise, it just turns into, hey, we released a new bot. Cool, everybody's going to work together for the first like 2, maybe 3 days, and then they're all going to go back to killing each other again. It's like, okay, because that becomes the biggest challenge at that point. And again, if that's the way they want this game to be built, cool. I'm all for it. You do your thing, but I'm not here for it. I'm going to play something else. Like, it's the same thing that it's not the same thing. It is a similar. I have a similar outlook to Call of Duty. Like Call of Duty, you're doing your own thing now. I don't want to play it anymore. I'm not interested. The people that are involved in the community are irritating. There's so many so many people using hacks in the game that hasn't been resolved yet. They waited 6 years before they finally said, hey guys, we're gonna do something about this now. Okay, cool, you already lost 90% of your player base. It's too late now.
The only people left are the hackers.
Pretty much. And the pros, that's all they're allowed to stream, because if they stream anything else, nobody's gonna watch. But And again, like,
money together, buddy.
if they want to make the game that way, if they want to play the game that way, that is your decision. But I'm not. I'm gonna move on to. I'll play indie games. Legitimately, I'm having more fun on, even though I've already played through the content. Like, look, I played through Skyrim umpteen
That's
times.
pretty
I don't even no, but I'm using it as an example.
good.
There are other games that
Yeah.
I played through multiple times that I a ton more than some of these multiplayer games that I've played. And it's just because of the community and the style of game that they're trying to build.
They're not lying to their
Heard about
to
your
their
marksmanship.
players.
Not bad. Did like mine back in the day.
Well, and so Overwatch was a big example of that. When they announced Overwatch 2 and they said, "Hey, we're going to add a PvE the game." I'm like, "Cool, that's a whole new experience. It's going to be super interesting. I'm sure there's going to be a cool story. We're going to learn about the background of characters more. We're going to get a chance to, team up against play and not, be in conflict constantly." But there's just so much conflict in games now, in multiplayer games, that it's exhausting. Every single game, the entire point of the game is for you to do better, you have to make somebody else worse. And I'm like, okay, well, there needs to be more co-op games. There needs to be more